Another spectacular Sunday, continuing the run of terrific weather that's favored race fans and racers this fall. Today it's the Kansas Speedway, newly repaved with slightly higher banking, making it faster than ever. And to that stage comes the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, with the point lead half of what it was a week ago, and a familiar favorite putting pressure on his younger rival for the title.
Do not call it a comeback. It might sound like a good story, but that's just a media hype job. Bell-bottoms, platform shoes, Robert Downey Jr., those are comebacks.
This is your place. Let's get it done today. Our boys, dig deep.
But the 48 team, please. To doubt is to disrespect.
He got a song to sing, he got an axe to grind. He's far and wide, but still hard to find. He goes wild,
Mr. Five-Time is a legend. He racks up points like frequent flyer miles.
So put your hands together for Mister.
Dude doesn't just drive, he's driven.
Just let me go out and do my thing.
He demands more than most, which is why he's got a timeshare on victory lane.
Save me some of that champagne, boys.
There are no rainy days with the 48 team. They see every race as a chance to win. This is a tank so full of belief it would take down the Batmobile.
Get that heat on him. He can't handle it.
Comeback? Shoot. The only thing more consistent is the Rocket Gibraltar, because that's how Jimmy rolls. He's either coming after you, or he's gone.
3 times in the past, Jimmy Johnson took over the championship lead at Kansas Speedway and went on to win the title. But Brad Keselowski will not give up that point lead easily. 400 miles today will tell the story. ESPN's coverage of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, presented by Ram, coming to you from the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. The opening ceremony and command to start engines coming up just moments from now. Alan Bester joined by champion driver Dale Jarrett and champion crew chief Andy Petrie, and this is where the pressure of this championship really begins to build.
Yeah, it's getting that time. This is what these drivers and teams have worked for all year long, and as I went through the garage area this weekend, you can feel things starting to ramp up. They're excited about the opportunity that they have, but it doesn't make any difference if you've been there before. You're still not immune to this pressure, and it continues to build. Today will be no different.
Yeah, our points leader, Brad Keselowski, and his team, and Paul Wolfe have been really cool and calm through this whole thing. But I did notice a little bit, too. I talked to Paul Wolfe a little bit early in the weekend, and I can sense just a little bit of pressure as this thing really comes down to the end.
Well, will the pressure be a factor in the race today? How will the high speeds of newly repaved Kansas Speedway play in the story of the chase for the championship? All to be determined as we go throughout this beautiful 73-degree afternoon in America's heartland. We begin by going trackside for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the 4th Brigade, 1st Infantry Division Color Guard from Fort Riley, Kansas presents our nation's colors. We recognize the cased colors of the 4th Brigade combat team, signifying that the unit is currently deployed to combat operations in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Please remain standing as Cole Cochran of Kansas City Alliance Raceway Ministries offers today's invocation.
Oh God, our lives are full of races, some decided by a few votes, some by a few seconds. Help us to trust you to lead us through the races of our lives. Help us make good decisions as we race. I pray for safety for each driver and team, each safety crew and official. Please bless the men and women of our armed forces. In the grace and power of God, I pray. Amen.
Here to honor America, please welcome the 1st Infantry Division Band from Fort Riley, Kansas, as they perform our national anthem.
Time to race in Kansas. 400 miles coming up in race number 6 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Kansas is presented by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. And in part by Sprint. Say no to sharing. Say yes to Sprint. With truly unlimited data. Visit sprint.com/speed.
You know, sometimes we forget about fast. We throw around terms like cookie cutter as if this is some leisurely Sunday parkway. Yeah, whatever. When the green flag falls and 43 hammers drop all at once, when those tires grab hold and that black top grabs right back, even the coolest cats feel a surge in their chest. No matter how many times they've done this before, fast is always fast.
And how fast is it? Well, everyone in the field broke the track qualifying record that had stood since 2005 here at Kansas Speedway as we get ready for race number 6 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. When you come to a newly repaved track, there's a lot of talk about single file racing and hard to pass, and I'm curious for your thoughts. Will we see that, or will we see the kind of interesting action we saw in yesterday's Nationwide Series race?
Yeah, a lot of the action that we saw yesterday, and as these drivers in this race today were either participating or watching that on TV yesterday, I think they breathed a sigh of relief that they were going to have more than that single groove that they're accustomed to when they come to these newly repaved tracks. There's a lot of racing room on the actual racing surface, but we're going to see them down below on the front straightaway, being able to make a pass. Drafting going to come into play, but don't get too much of a false sense of security that second groove is really, really wide. You have to stay tight. That's going to get this inside car loose. You have to be extremely careful and don't get too overconfident.
Yeah, the groove's still pretty narrow. One thing, though, these Cup cars seem to be able to widen that groove out a little bit more than the Nationwide cars. We'll maybe have a little bit of overcast today. Don't know how that's going to play into that, but we might see actually both grooves move up the racetrack because remember, there is more banking up there if they can get it borne in.
So we'll see how today's race plays out versus yesterday's Nationwide Series event, and by comparison, the April Sprint Cup Series race here had only 3 cautions. Yesterday's Nationwide event had a dozen. We expect today to be somewhere in the middle. Now, as for Brad Keselowski, starting 25th, how will these early laps be for him?
Very nervous. I'd say that Brad's going to be extremely careful, even though he knows that he has the car and can normally work his way through this traffic. This racetrack is still slick. A lot can happen.
I don't think they're panicked. This team knows how to do this. They've done this a lot. They know how to start from the back, and he's got a really good crew chief on the box with Paul Wolfe. I think that they'll work this thing methodically, just like they have so far. They're leading the points for a good reason because they make good decisions.
Not a new thing for them to start mid-pack here lately, and for the most part, they've seemed to make it work out. We'll see how they make it work out today. A lot of unknowns in this race here at Kansas Speedway, over 400 miles. Who wins today? Time to start finding out right now as we go trackside for the command to start engines.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome actor, comedian, and proud Kansas native, Rob Riggle.
You ready for some racing? All right. Well, hey, on behalf of all of the Hollywood casino employees here locally, all 800 of them and all 16,000 nationwide, welcome to the Hollywood Casino 400! All right. It's almost go time. Drivers! Start your engines!
With gusto, we are ready to race here at Kansas Speedway today. And our ESPN in-race reporter is a man who'd make a lot of these Kansas fans very happy if he were able to win. Clint Boyer from Emporia, southwest of here, about 100 miles, reignited his championship hopes with a big win at Charlotte last Saturday night, his 3rd victory of the season. Kansas Clint would love to pull off the victory here in his hometown, something that's avoided him thus far in his Sprint Cup career. But we'll talk with Clint on the parade and pace laps about whether it's possible today, next.